Uh, Proceed to you. Now it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yes. It's visible now, right?
It's like good. Fine. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. So, what we do today, we will, this is about the startups, where I'm going to walk, all of you through my experiences, some of my learnings, some that I want to share with you, which will all help you understand whole startup universe, what to do about it, how can you start on your own, or in a lot of detail. Um, who am I? So, as Professor Bindumadhan mentioned, I'm again, that was my ID, 91 PS 292. Stayed in Bhagirath hostels, chemical engineering group, uh, where I graduated from. MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, completed my CFA from the US. 15 years of industry experience with like PayPal, ICICI Bank, Tata Group, Co-op, and so on. I did strategy, business development, and operations. I was part of the founding team of Vita, visited successfully to EXO a few years back. Investor and ran a $700 million fund, also director on the board of 5 companies. What we will, as we will look at understanding the whole startup world, full startups, and how do you build powerful business plans and how while joining a startup. And these things that I will cover today. Professor Gopal, just wanted to confirm if you're able to see the subsequent slides also. Can you please confirm? Or if you participants, can you just type on chat and let me know if you're able to see the slides that I'm presenting? Okay, it's like you're not able to see that. See if I can bring it. It must be visible now. Yeah. So I think I'm talking of the slide, which what we'll cover today. Startups. The table of contents is visible. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So what we will run through then, and we address all these topics. And when you all think that you have some questions, please feel free to ask me those questions. What do you all feel is a startup? What do you all think a startup is? Any others? So a startup, I define it. And a startup is a modern version of an inventor. What you're really trying to do is to solve problems. A successful startup typically wants to solve a problem and make this world a better place. That's what it is trying to do. So it's a real world problem and gives the solutions for that is a successful startup. Some very famous logos, right? I really don't even have to spell out what and which are these logos. Can you tell me what do these firms have in common? Chat, what do you think that these firms have in common? For customer needs, absolutely, that's one of the answers. Free to send the answers to the entire group. They're all online. Getting more responses now. They started as small ideas, essentially as startups. They brought market. Excellent. What names, right? Most of them are multi-billion-dollar enterprises. He said these are startups. So these started very small. In fact, they call them as garage startups. And most of time, they've literally changed the world in terms of what some solutions they've brought to the industry. So these are fantastic companies, which each of them have addressed strong customer needs and tried to solve customer pain points. That's what they've done. What do firms have in common? There's an which I'm asking you, what do these have in common? I think, like you said, all have been founded by people who are Bitcoin alumni. Absolutely, these are Bitcoin startups, and something that as a matcher we are all proud of. Take to make a startup really successful. Characteristics of successful startups, as they say. And what are characteristics of successful startups? What do you think? Okay. Three. Or all good answers. Yes. People. Yes. Absolutely. Not give time. Yes. For sure. What is successful? Why do you think all those names we saw, whether it's Apple or Flipkart or Facebook, all of them, why do you think they're successful? Customers' needs in view. Very nice. Very nice. Right? You need to send your answers to the entire group so that others also can benefit from your answers. Give very good answers. Right? So, what we do is we will examples in terms of how to identify the need and they it. You would out of Airbnb, right? So Airbnb is a very, very successful startup where the problem was that price was an important element. Staying in hotels in a foreign country or in a new place, people are disconnected from local culture. And the way to book a room with a local. So, right? Can rent out their space to host travelers. While the travelers, can I save them money? Make money? And in terms of culture, they have a local connection to the city. And by which these are early address this problem of how people, when travel, they able to connect to the local culture while also saving on price and having wonderful experiences. Right? Homo that actually launched as a video dating site. Ever a site meant for upload videos and sharing videos across the way we know it today. But original idea never took off. You don't really associate YouTube with video dating, right? So the founders realized that the users of YouTube have a better idea of what to do with the site. They wanted to share their experiences. They share their own life journeys. And also, they realized that uh, they sharing their life journeys. They realized that that's a way to market themselves. People, it's a way to share their personal experiences with a whole lot of people. And in terms of videos, literally wide over the last several years. Right today, billions of videos get uploaded on YouTube every single day. No, Google this potential, right? And just a year after the first video on YouTube was uploaded, Google it and get the sum at which Google bought YouTube for was $1 billion. That's right, $1.6 billion at which Google had bought YouTube. An example where startups learn to change direction. They call it pivoting while the customers, right? Whom surround themselves with? They sit with good people, sometimes great people, really, really outstanding people. PayPal, where Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Max Levchin. PayPal, and it became a very, very successful payments company. They exit PayPal, they have to do a lot of other interesting things. Founders Fund, it is a $1 million fund to fund enterprises. Palantir, which is an artificial intelligence and data analytics firm, invested in Facebook. He was associated with Y Combinator until a few years back. I've heard of Elon Musk. Startup, extremely energetic, dynamic entrepreneur, right? Max, who was technology head of PayPal at the time. After he went on to found Yelp, which again a very, very successful enterprise in the US. Right? So what things which startups need is what kind of people whom I really have as part of my core team. Right? We went into what that you would like to know for a startup and a business plan, and turn to what are things that you feel are important for you to have the dreams to start up on your own. All right? It's a business plan. Business plan, our mission statement. What about? What are you trying to solve? View. As is the opportunity we are talking of here. Type your product or service. What is the plan? What are you going to do on a daily basis to get to want to get to? Together, and what financials on which you will operate? How much do you expect to make? When do you have to break even? Expect to become profitable? Right? Those things that you could think through while looking at found venture, right? Literally founding a venture starts with a business plan. That's really the blueprint where you're putting together. All right. What is the plan? What opportunity that I'm looking at? What? All right. Money. And is the right team at the time. all elements of this plan. In how to do this plan is to make it complete, make it nice, and make it clear. Somebody who is looking at the plan is clear in terms of what I'm trying to solve and how I'm planning to solve it. Right? Anything on the business plan itself. This is a key element, guys, for those of you who this is something that you need to think about. Go about building my own plan. Also look at an example of how a very successful business plan got constructed. We'll look at that example very soon. Right questions, I'm happy to take them. So what I think we would like to do is there is in terms of team. Team of people who come together, right? So it starts from the founding team and level of team whom they put it, who all congregate for the purpose of establishing that venture. Essentially, it's the initial team, which is the core team, which is excited by the idea, which is to redefine how things happen. Is gung about making successful. That's the core team. Okay. So let's look at a very, very successful example. So we'll look at a successful example of Uber, and then I will take some of the other questions which are relating to the business plan and to the founding team. So, like I think all of us know Uber, right? How this itself, how it own are all something that we're extremely familiar with. But start way back 2008, when the founders Garrett Ham and Kalanick put it together, what they dream of, right? Let's actually look at the slides that they presented in 2008. And going over some of the slides which they put it to investors, they tried to raise funding. So this is the initial blueprint. Okay, they did it was generation car service. Because in 8, these are exactly the words that they used to address that time. Repeated in the US. So all of the examples are New York or San Francisco centered. So find it is that today at the time there was inefficient technology. Labs are just done by hailing, coordination, and problems with people trying to get cabs. Cabs. Or they also found that the pricing was something which really did not have a good control of. So they were with respect to availability, with respect to pricing, and respect to convenience. So what set out to do? They said fast and efficient on-car service. How find the market? In American cities. So the convenience of a cab in New York, experience of a professional chauffeur. So I have to worry about taking my own car. I knew that I could get into cabs which are super comfortable and super affordable. Right? And the technology, the way they define themselves as the net jets of car services. We could use technology, which is using the maps network, navigate from any to anywhere. That is their proposition. How clearly they can problem and how they are talking about what is the problem. All right. This is car service. They are expanding in terms of how it looks like. If you remember, in the plan slide, I clearly said that you need to talk about the market opportunity. You need to talk about what is the problem you're trying to solve, what business model. If here they're talking about what is their business model, in business model, it really it is professional and trustworthy clientele. They are hailed from the street. You kind of the app. So get up. So one is coming. You know that they are coming, right? So that's your offering. Okay. What is that? It is only. So you need to become a member of Uber to be their services. One thing, right? So their convenience offering. Very first response time is luxury automobiles, and now we of course that they went luxury automobiles to all kind of vehicles. Right? It was a solution optimized based on the location-based services. That was the way they differentiated themselves. So what they are doing, they've identified the problem, they have their business model, about why their business model is different from anybody else. Right? And if you see, one, they used to look at the problem, say that this is a problem to be there, like it's a problem which is going to be there irrespective of the economic condition. I think is which is why did they pitch during the financial crisis? The points of problems which at that time were there, they thought it to be a green, and it is true. It was a problem, and it was truly remarkable. The market size and potential is something that they do. Something that you need to capture. You need to articulate for your investors what's its size and how it is growing, right? And how the top players, they contribute to only 22% of the revenues, which means that so potential was really available. Recognized taxi players covering only 22% of the whole market, right? Which size that they were going after. So they said this is their operating plan. They're in San Francisco and New York to begin with. They led to Los Angeles, Chicago, all of the market, right? Pretty covering 50% of the entire US market. All right. The way at that time was, what is the scenario, right? They said that they could become the market leader in terms of annual revenue. They set out was 50% of the market share of the top US cities and $20 to $30 million per year in terms of profit. The purpose to remain as a 10-car, 100-client service in San Francisco for San Francisco-based executives. It's now all know where they have landed. I mean, if you rewind back to what they were dreaming of $1 billion in terms of annual revenue. Uber did more than $15 billion in terms of their own revenue. And of their platform, more than $50 billion of bookings happen. It's at which they have grown. And much cover than 100 million customers today across the world. Right? So if you were to think back and see, okay, how did they go out making their pitch? They were very clear in terms of the market share, the pricing, how they think it, what would they do to make it happen, right? So this gives you a sense of how they went about the business plan. I will go more questions. So one coming is in terms of why is Uber still facing losses? And what they have progressively done is, in their markets where they've been established, they are profitable. what as it keeps growing is that it keeps investing in newer markets where it believes that there is potential, but I need to invest in the early stages for it to really develop and grow. That they have been doing. So markets where they establish, they are profitable. In the markets where they are still seeing increased demand in for cabs, growing customer base, they keep investing. That's the way they grow. Is that uh, uh, you know that there is a lot of ideas which keep coming. Right? How do I know whether to make it work or not? Okay, things is to look down to the elements which I just mentioned, right? Like so, are there reasons why the idea will succeed? Sustainable market opportunity, fundamental customer pain point, is then really scalable. Those are those elements that really determine whether we latch onto this idea and do we build that idea and make it successful. The other questions which is coming is making a worst case scenario in a predict correct. And it takes a lot of guts to mention worst case scenario because that as the founding team, as the key team is driving it, I know even in worst case scenario, I can anticipate, I can predict and deal with what it is, and confident enough to put it out in front of you. Actually shows a lot of gut. Which are coming is how do we go pursuing our idea, even if when we are sure it fulfills all the criteria. I think that to start, you just have to start. There is really the moment you feel that it is something that one believes in, one can make it happen. Do is just take it from there and build it and fix it and have courage to go with it, right? And it also helps if you give a certain time frame in your mind in terms of saying that okay, I will say 1 year or 2 years or 3 years of my life to this. Okay, and then what that is that this I will pivot, I will do my best to make it happen. It works, that's all right. It's not I have tried something and made it work, and a lot better than a lot of people out there who are not trying anything, right? So and actually you've been an entrepreneur, it's actually viewed very, very positively. It's like 5 years or even 10 years back when friends or anybody else who had starting with a lot of circumspection, that viewed quite positively. It shows that you have the courage to take idea and try to do something to make it work. The other thing I would say is that we learn a lot when you are trying to establish and run an own venture. You learn a lot. What happens is that you feel that that is something that firstly you give your heart and soul to it. Second, when challenges come, you're able to address it effectively. It really what happens is that when you start a venture, it means that you are the idea. You know that there are uncertainties, but live through them, right? You're willing to in a manner where you're trying to say, okay, I believe in something and I'm willing to back it up with my effort. And for a lot of times, that's all it takes to begin. Is that is there will give us a bit of certainty. So I think every startup is unique. Every business idea is unique. Every venture is unique in the way that they have gone about addressing the problems and building and making it work, right? So that's a unique in terms of how they to the extent it is there is there is a broad approach. There's something which each individual or each team has to figure out by themselves, right? So there is no cookie cutter saying that if this worked in one venture, it will also work in the ventures, right? So you will have to figure out what works, and sometimes the best teacher. I give an example of how YouTube did it, right? So they thought that it thing they had where people could upload their own videos and have YouTube videos as a dating site, but that's not what the customers really wanted. What customers wanted was some to be able to share their experiences to the world, to instantly to connect to the outside world through their videos. That's what customers wanted. I will go to the next section, which talks about what to think of when you want to join a startup. Now, there are you who want to start ventures. There are among you who also want to join ventures, right? And you want to understand how does that work. We'll go to that section and then come to the rest of the questions. Right? Keep in mind, let's look out for. I need to go out for the market opportunity. Is there a ability that this market will expand and grow? To see $1 billion opportunity to begin with, but the see that there is something we need it to grow. There are avenues by which it will grow. Then you're able to figure it out the more you get into the venture. Okay, don't sell because you don't see like a huge opportunity. In most cases, that's not how it is. Second, lead a team. Right? So, if you're looking to join, how good is a combination of their backgrounds, their solving problems, their to dealing with people, and general orientation towards making things successful, their integrity, their values, all are very, very important when looking at a leadership team. Business model. So the business model sound, thing which can get to a point where it is solving customer needs, it is addressing customer problems, it has towards sustainable revenues and profitability. All these three elements are important, right? So when you're looking at any venture, let's say years down the line, you have campus placements and a whole host of startups come to recruit you. What do you like? So each of the company, when you hear presentations or when you analyze them, these three elements, right? So what is really the market they're going after? Is it sustainable? Something that will survive over a period of time? What is the team? What's the quality of the leadership team? And really this core business model that they have. How to make money? How do their different stakeholders, their vendors, their customers, their employees, those form important apps by which you will analyze, right? And people think that I need to look closely at how the startup is funded, will this funding, all of that is important. Let me tell you, having started a venture and having successfully sold it to I think it's an essential, natural byproduct. The moment you get these three, it's a product of that, right? So things I need to look out for, and this is something that like, the moment next time you go to a presentation of a company, keeping this in mind will really help you as you listen and understand and assimilate. Start to ask yourself, is comfortable with working in a startup? No, what I mean? It means fairly structured environment, structured so it is not crystal clear in terms of roles and responsibilities, which means that they actually have to do a variety of roles. Yours might not be outlined extremely clearly, which means that things keep onto your plate as things are moving. You up your sleeves and do a lot of things which you didn't anticipate that you would do. You need to build frequent change, right? Change in terms of people will be dealing with, the ups to the market. How do we fine tune it to make it successful? All of that and rapid growth. So startup typically experiences month-on-month growth in double-digit percentage terms. So the organization will keep expanding. Whom over responsibilities could keep increasing. You might alternate things which you didn't begin with. You will have to learn and relearn quite quickly, right? Are things that you're comfortable with. If you the rewards are very much there, you are typically part of really fast-growing organizations. They're quite the successful ones are really rewarding in terms of both cash and equity. You would have learned a lot of things much faster than you would do in a traditional environment of a company where it's very clear in terms of what you would do. So the exposure and the learning is very much there. What you need to make sure is to ask yourself that someone is okay. I mean, can I adapt to unstructured environments? Can I work when things keep changing quite fast? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself, right? So in this section, what we really looked at is vetting a company to join. What are elements that you look at? Whether it's the problem, there is the leadership team, the opportunity, and the potential, right? Like what a business model can really deliver. Those are things to analyze. That is an analysis point of view. From an analysis point of view, you yourself comfortable with. Can you look at elements in terms of really understanding and going from your own learning perspective, like as a person, would you begin with this? These questions that you can ask yourself, and it's okay if you realize that you've not had exposure to these things, right? And that begin with, but would you thinking of it like something you would like to try out? Does it fundamentally excite you? Those are things you need to ask yourself, right? So what we covered till now is what startups, what is startups, what characterize successful startups, right? That how they address a problem, how they themselves with good people, willing to change based on customer feedback. Then, if you start on your own, what do you really need? You really need a sound business plan. What are the elements of a business plan? It started out in 2008, put together its first business plan. Right? Let's say you don't need to start something, but if you intend to join a startup, what is that you would look at? There are things that you feel comfortable with as a person in terms of the environment you're going to face. Right on all these, you will then take a call in terms of, is join startup the right thing for me? If based on my analysis, which of the ones I would like to join? Right? So at juncture, I will, now that we have covered all the elements in a good level of detail, we will answer some of from all these sessions. questions, feel free to them. So there are two questions which have come. One is in terms of a startup that has failed and where they went wrong. So essentially, it had the startup called Groupon, which was very, very popular back. What Groupon did was to offer deals to customers. What they found was in terms of when they found that even customer visits to merchants and outlets where they were offering the deal, but really didn't offer a compelling proposition to the customer. So customers were always seeking deals, whereas the prices. So for example, let's say they offer a deal on a certain spa service at a spa chain. What is that? The deal did not encourage repeat business. So spa chain which was offering the deals, they really wanted repeat customers to come. Customers who were coming came only for the deals and then they stopped coming. So it's an example where, so which means you need to really keep funding those deals for customers to come. So that's not a sustainable model. There's reasons why Groupon failed. To give an example of what really went wrong. Some of the options are in terms of if invest in startups as investors, what is the advice I would give? The real advice I would give is that at this stage of life, I would strongly urge you all to become more familiar with startups, either by working with them, start your own, or being very, very familiar with how startups work. You start investing your own capital into them. Investing is a skill that you gain over a period of time. You gain through all the experiences that I told you, and you develop a finer sense of you develop a much better acumen in terms of seeing that what things that could work, making an informed call based on that. Right? So the real advice I would give investing is that get an understanding of how it works if you start putting your own capital into that. Right? So how should a startup decide which investors should we approach? That's it. So typically decide investors based on their pedigree, based on that they can bring to the table, which means that you're looking only at the capital, their knowledge, the ability of having invested in other startups, their to the ability to bring those learnings to be able to add value where you just go up to them and brainstorm, right? All you need as a startup founder is someone whom you can brainstorm with and who can also guide you in the right direction objectively. Right? Someone who is someone who is objective, someone who is balanced, someone who can see the big picture. All these are very, very valuable skills, and most importantly, someone who has the right amount of networks. And networks can be in terms of getting up more customers, getting up more investors. All that are traits that you would value in an investor. All this goes beyond the capital that they're bringing to the table. So, current COVID situation, what is really the startups? A podcast the other day where I addressed a lot of startup founders and so on. A couple of things. I think this brings the to rise up and really look for opportunities. A lot of opportunities, let me tell you that. The entire world is getting connected digitally. It's opening literally a huge arena of opportunities. What you really need as a founder is two things. You need resilience and adaptability. You need to, if you're already a founder, to kind of take this through, manage expenses, manage your cash situation, manage the way you're working. Resilience, if you're starting something new also, you need the resilience to have it to start in these times. You need adaptability. Right? Ability is something that you move and pivot based on what the market needs and deliver according to that. Who thought that? I mean, and you guys know it, right? Your classes remotely. Parents would start ordering medicine. A lot of them would order medicines through all changes, which happen. Who would have thought that, would start using significantly a huge number of video conferencing facilities to communicate with each other. Right? Things that happen in these situations, and those are the opportunities that you need to look out for. Is there any platform which helps to connect VCs and startups? Yes, there are quite a few of them. And look at being part of Angel Network. There's one called TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs. There are local chapters across the country. You can be part of a local chapter. There are Angel Networks. There are things like VC Circle, Intelligence, Track, etc., which really help connecting start VCs. So there are multiple number of them, which where you can start up, and you're looking for funding. You can find institutions or individuals who are willing to fund that. Coming is that the models of Ola and Uber are similar, which means that is there an intellectual property violation? Not really. That it comes down to understanding of what intellectual property rights in the first place. It is really patentable. We are talking of any scientific research or which is some one company and which has the rights. These are ideas, right? So the faster, in fact, one point of time there were multiple taxi rides in the country and even across the world. But what makes an enterprise successful is a combination of the vision, the ability, and the ability to navigate multiple challenges and problems and wade through them, and get a good team in place. All attributes are things which make an enterprise successful. It's not just the idea, right? But also startup, it's not the idea. It's as much about the team. It's as about the market opportunity, as much about the team which comes together, and as much about the funding that it attracts, right? So all of these come together to make a venture successful. And if you go back to the slide which I mentioned in terms of all enterprises, Google, Uber, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., all of the elements came together in a very, very strong and compelling manner. Right? Question, last couple of questions I can take. So one of the points is that the methodology made this webinar interesting. Any other thoughts about this webinar that you all have? I am happy to thank you. I'm sort of thank you messages and messages that it was being very insightful and interesting. Thank you for that. To reach me at this email ID, I am available at vijay.rajagopal@gmail.com. And then you can connect with me through that, and I'm happy to answer any further questions that you would have. I'm going to be sharing this presentation with Professor Bindu Madhavan and Professor Gaurav Nagpal. They're sharing this deck with you. I want all of you to benefit from this. Any questions I'm happy to take, and please connect with me. Whether starting something on your own or looking at joining a startup, I'm happy to happy to kind of contribute and help, right, ongoing basis. So thank you, everyone, and over to you, Professor Nagpal and Professor Bindu Madhavan.
It was a pleasure to have you with us today. And the session was really very insightful, very much from a practitioner perspective. So I feel that you have summed up your 15 years of experience into this deck. And the good part is you will not find it in any book. So it is totally flowing from your experience. We are thankful to you. I request Professor Bindu Madhavan to give a vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
No, I mean, I think you have said it, and indeed, very insightful presentation by Mr. Vijay Rajagopal. Definitely bring new dimensions and brings clear cut of insights into full startups and how they have sort of not just an idea but how to actually make it successful is what he talked about. And I think the inputs that he gave to the students as well were all very full, I trust. So again, I thank Mr. Vijay Rajagopal and look continued association with us in the future as well. Very much.
Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Bindu Madhavan. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. I enjoyed talking to the students and conveying. Sir Nagpal said, I just thought of my own experience, and I think that's the best way to share it with the students. So thank you for that, Professor Nagpal, for arranging this, and look forward to even going down into the future to share more of my knowledge and experiences with all the students who are, would benefit from this.
It was our pleasure as well. I would only want to do one more thing. Request the students to be available for 3:30 session today by Mr. Shenu Agarwal, CEO of Escorts Agri Machinery. So please spread the word in your batch also. Look forward to good attendance for that session. Thank you, students. Thank you, sir. Thank you.